Ever wonder why beer is the third most popular drink in the world after water and tea? An intriguing question, isn't it? It's a fact that beer is a global phenomenon, a beverage enjoyed in almost every corner of the world, from the vibrant pubs of Dublin to the bustling izakayas of Tokyo. Picture this: a group of friends gathered around a table, laughter and conversation filling the air, hands reaching out for chilled mugs, the frothy liquid within a symbol of camaraderie and relaxation. That's beer for you, a social lubricant, a catalyst for connection. It's more than just a drink, it's an experience, a tradition, a part of our culture. But where did this love for beer originate? Well, it's a story that dates back thousands of years, to the cradle of civilization itself. In the ancient times, beer was not merely a source of enjoyment, but a vital part of the diet, a form of sustenance. It was a gift from the gods, a symbol of prosperity and well-being. From the Sumerians of Mesopotamia, who were the pioneers in brewing, to the Egyptians who considered beer to be a divine offering, to the Romans and Greeks who loved their wine but still respected the art of brewing, beer has played a significant role in various societies. It has been a common thread weaving through the tapestry of human history, a testament to our love for this fermented beverage. In fact, beer has even been a catalyst for progress. It's been said that agriculture, one of the cornerstones of civilization, was developed not for bread, but for beer. Imagine that. Our ancestors loved beer so much that they decided to settle down and start farming just so they could have a steady supply of their favorite drink. So, why do people love beer so much? Is it the taste, the variety, the way it brings people together? Or is it the rich history, the stories and legends that surround this ancient beverage? To answer these questions, we need to delve deeper into the world of beer, to explore its origins, its evolution, and its impact on our society. So, grab a pint and get comfortable. It's time to dive into the fascinating history of beer and find out. Did you know that the history of beer dates back to the 5th millennium BC, perhaps even earlier? Let's take a trip back in time and discover the ancient beginnings of this beloved beverage. Our journey starts in ancient Iran, where the earliest evidence of beer production was discovered. Here, archaeologists have found pottery shards with traces of beer residue, suggesting that beer brewing was a part of their culture. It's fascinating to think that thousands of years ago, our ancestors were already enjoying a cold one, isn't it? From Iran, beer brewing techniques spread across the ancient world, reaching civilizations like Egypt and Mesopotamia. In these societies, beer wasn't just a casual drink. It held a crucial role. It was a dietary staple, commonly consumed with every meal, and even used as a form of currency. Imagine paying for your groceries with a jug of beer. But the importance of beer didn't stop there. In ancient Egypt, beer was considered a divine offering. It was often used in religious rituals and offerings to the gods. They believed that the gods themselves gifted them the knowledge of beer brewing. The Egyptian pharaohs were even buried with miniature breweries so they could enjoy a heavenly brew in the afterlife. Mesopotamia, too, revered beer. They had a goddess of beer, Ninkasi, and even a hymn to her that doubled as a recipe for beer. This hymn, inscribed on a clay tablet, is one of the oldest known recipes in existence. Talk about a lasting legacy. So you see, beer has been a part of human history for as long as we can remember. It's been a companion to mankind through the ages, from the ancient civilizations to the modern world. It's more than just a drink, it's a testament to our history, our cultures, and our collective love for a good brew. From a dietary staple to a divine offering, beer had a significant place in ancient societies, and it continues to hold a special place in our hearts today. So the next time you raise a pint, remember you're not just enjoying a beer, you're partaking in a tradition that spans millennia. As we move into the Middle Ages, beer continues to evolve and spread across cultures. During the early Middle Ages, brewing beer was largely a family affair. It was seen as one of the many household tasks that needed to be done, like baking bread or churning butter. Beer was brewed in small batches at home, primarily by women, and was considered a nutritious staple needed to sustain life. But as the Middle Ages progressed, the brewing of beer shifted from a domestic task to a more organized commercial activity. Monasteries across Europe began to take on this task. Why the monks, you ask? Well, they had a few reasons. First, they needed beer for their own consumption, as it was a safer alternative to water, which was often contaminated. Second, they could sell the excess beer to generate income for their religious orders. The monks were meticulous, and their methodical approach led to significant advancements in brewing. They cultivated yeast strains and experimented with various ingredients to create a wide array of flavors. This was the start of brewing as we know it today. Perhaps the most important change, however, was the introduction of hops. Prior to the Middle Ages, beer was flavored with a mixture of herbs and spices known as gruit. But by the end of the 13th century, brewers began to use hops instead. Hops not only provided a pleasant bitterness to balance the sweetness of the malt, but they also had preservative qualities. This allowed beer to be stored and transported over longer distances, leading to the spread of different beer styles across Europe. The Middle Ages also saw the rise of brewing guilds in towns and cities. These guilds established standards for brewing and regulated the industry, providing a level of quality control. The beer that was brewed during this period would be recognizable to us today as beer, in contrast to the diverse and often wild fermented beverages of earlier times. The Middle Ages not only saw the spread of beer, but also the birth of the beer we know today. The Industrial Revolution brought significant changes not just to the world, but also to beer brewing. As we dive into the heart of the Industrial Revolution, around the late 18th century, we find ourselves in an era of transformation that profoundly shaped the beer brewing process. The Industrial Revolution was a time of great innovation and technological advancements, and beer production was no exception. One of the most significant inventions of this era was the steam engine. Before steam power, brewing was a labor-intensive process heavily reliant on human or animal power. The introduction of the steam engine revolutionized brewing by automating many of the tasks previously done by hand, allowing for increased efficiency and scalability. Breweries could now produce larger quantities of beer, paving the way for the rise of commercial brewing, but it wasn't just the steam engine that made an impact. The invention of refrigeration technology was another game changer. Before refrigeration, brewing was a seasonal activity, largely limited to the colder months of the year when it was easier to control fermentation temperatures. The advent of refrigeration meant that beer could be brewed year-round, and more importantly, it meant consistency. Brewers could now control the temperature of their brews more accurately, leading to a more consistent, high-quality product. And let's not forget about the role of transportation. The development of railways and steamships during the Industrial Revolution meant that beer could be transported over greater distances. This not only increased the reach of breweries, but also led to the exchange of brewing techniques and styles, contributing to the rich diversity of beer we enjoy today. To sum it up, the Industrial Revolution was a time of great change for beer brewing. The advent of steam power, refrigeration technology, and improved transportation transformed brewing from a small-scale, seasonal activity into a large-scale, year-round industry. The innovations of this era laid the foundation for the modern brewing industry, making beer more accessible and varied than ever before. With the Industrial Revolution, beer brewing transformed from a local activity into a global industry. Fast forward to the present day, and beer has become a global phenomenon. No longer is it just a simple frothy beverage. It's an intricate part of our social fabric, a testament to our creative spirit, a symbol of conviviality, and a mirror reflecting our diverse cultures. In today's world, the humble pint has been elevated to a new level of sophistication, with a dizzying array of styles and flavors. From the robust stouts and ales of the British Isles, to the crisp lagers of Germany, the hoppy IPAs of America, and the tart and tangy lambics of Belgium, there's a beer for every taste and occasion. But it's not just about the big, well-known brands. The modern beer landscape is also characterized by a vibrant craft beer movement. These small, independent breweries are shaking up the industry, resurrecting forgotten styles, experimenting with new ingredients, and pushing the boundaries of what beer can be. They're not just brewing beer, they're brewing art. And let's not forget the giants of the beer world, the brands that have become household names, synonymous with beer itself. From the crisp golden pilsners of Pilsner Urquell in the Czech Republic, to the rich malty brews of Guinness in Ireland, to the refreshing, easy-drinking lagers of Budweiser in the United States, These brands have shaped our perceptions of beer and have left an indelible mark on the industry. Yet despite the commercial success of these brands, it's important to remember that at its core, beer is about more than just big business. It's about tradition, craftsmanship, and a shared sense of community. It's about celebrating our past, while also looking forward to the future. In the modern world, beer is more than just a drink. It's a symbol of culture, tradition, and innovation. Now let's take a quick tour around the world through the lens of beer. As we embark on this global beer adventure, let's start in Germany, the land of Oktoberfest. Here, the purity law, or Reinheitsgebot, dictates that beer should only contain water, barley, and hops. This law, dating back to the 16th century, has cultivated a beer culture that's admired for its simplicity and quality. Next, we find ourselves in Belgium, a country with a beer list as diverse as its linguistic heritage. From the fruity lambics spontaneously fermented with wild yeasts to the strong and dark Trappist brews, Belgian beers are a testament to the country's creativity and brewing tradition. Crossing the Atlantic, we land in the United States. The craft beer scene here has exploded in recent decades, resulting in a wealth of styles. The American IPA, with its strong hop character and high alcohol content, has become a signature of the nation's bold and innovative spirit. Down south in Mexico, it's all about light, refreshing lagers, perfect for the country's warm climate. Mexican beers often come served with a lime, a unique twist that adds to the beer's refreshing character. Over in the United Kingdom, we find ales that range from the dark and creamy stouts to the lighter bitters. The Brits have a long-standing tradition of serving beer at cellar temperature, allowing for a fuller appreciation of the beer's flavor. Finally, in Japan, a country more known for sake, beer has made a significant impact. Japanese brewers have been gaining international acclaim for their take on German-style lagers and Belgian-inspired ales, demonstrating a commitment to quality and precision. As we've seen, beer is a global language, with each country adding its unique accent. The ingredients, brewing methods, and cultural influences all play a part in shaping the diverse world of beer. Whether it's a German lager, a Belgian ale, or an American IPA, every beer tells a story about its place of origin. Before we wrap up, here are some fun beer facts that you might not know. Beer, the world's oldest and most widely consumed alcoholic beverage, is full of surprises. For instance, have you ever wondered what the strongest beer in the world is? Well, it's a brew named Snake Venom. This Scottish creation boasts an impressive 67.5% alcohol by volume. That's more than triple the strength of your average beer. And speaking of strong beers, did you know that beer was considered a form of sustenance in the Middle Ages? That's right! In places like Germany, beer was often consumed with breakfast. The alcohol content was much lower, of course, but it provided essential calories for hardworking folks. Now let's talk about the oldest brewery in the world. Nestled in the heart of Germany, Weihenstephan Abbey has been brewing beer since the year 1040. That's almost a millennium of beer-making tradition. But beer isn't just about strength and history, it's also about diversity. There are over 25,000 beer brands worldwide, from ubiquitous giants like Budweiser and Heineken to craft microbreweries, experimenting with unique flavors and techniques. Speaking of diversity, did you know that the color of beer can tell you a lot about its flavor? Generally, the darker the beer, the stronger and more robust its taste. So, a deep black stout will have a much richer flavor than a light golden lager. And finally, for those of you who appreciate a cold beer on a hot day, here's a fun fact. The term lawnmower beer is often used to describe light, refreshing beers that are perfect for sipping outdoors. So, the next time you're enjoying a sunny afternoon, why not reach for a lawnmower beer? So, the next time you crack open a cold one, remember the rich and fascinating history behind every sip. So, why is beer so popular? Perhaps it's because of its rich history, its cultural significance, or the sheer variety of flavors and styles. We've journeyed through time, from the ancient beginnings of beer, its prominence in the Middle Ages, the changes brought by the Industrial Revolution, to its place in our modern world. We've seen how beer has traveled, adapted, and evolved around the globe, weaving itself into the fabric of different cultures. It's more than just a beverage, it's a symbol of camaraderie, a testament to human innovation, a centerpiece in celebrations, and sometimes a quiet companion in solitude. The trivia we've shared only scratches the surface of the intriguing world of beer. From famous brands to lesser-known local brews, each has a story of its own. Beer is not just about the taste, it's about the experience. So here's to beer, a drink that has been bringing people together for thousands of years.